Hey everyone, so this is a reading for your sun, moon, or rising. If you want to skip ahead to any particular area that has your interest, that is like top of mind, then I would check out the timestamps down below. Also, the live hangouts for cards and cocktails, and planning to do more of those. They've been going very well. I haven't chosen any dates for April yet, but the best way to stay on top of that and to find out when those are, to come hang out and get free tarot card pulls. It's just a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. It's a way for me to connect with people too. It's just fun. You can go check that out in my Instagram. So that's honestly the best way, is to follow me on Instagram to stay up on like when those get announced. So I try to do at least a couple different times to catch different time zones. The other thing is, and I'm gonna keep this really short and succinct this month, last month that was nuts. So let's keep this short and succinct. This is a collective reading, so keep that in mind. If this particular message doesn't resonate with you this month, it just wasn't your message this month. I would check out, if you're checking out your sun sign, rising, then check out your moon sign and see which one of those might resonate with you a little bit better this month. If you do want something that's more specific to what's going on in your life, I highly recommend booking a reading one-to-one. So all the links for that are down below. You can book a personal reading, you can get 20% off of your reading, you can get 50% off with a referral link. So all of that information is down below. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. The last thing that I want to say is there are new subscriptions that are available on Patreon. So if you're someone who really likes ongoing personal guidance with respect to what you're dealing with in this particular month or any month, I have weekly one-to-one, either live or recorded monthly subscriptions. So you can pay monthly to get weekly readings with me that are 30 minutes long. Or you can pay for monthly 90-minute readings with me, and those are also either live one-to-one or recorded for you. So those options are now available on Patreon. I'm still working on the website thing in the background. It has been a bananas month, you guys. So I'm going as fast as I can, but things are changing pretty rapidly. Anyhow, I think that's about all. Enjoy your readings, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye. Hello Aquarius, and welcome to your April 2022 reading. This is a collective reading for sun, moon, or rising Aquarius. So if it resonates this month, awesome. If it doesn't, just consider that this particular message wasn't for you. Obviously, we can't capture every single Aquarius out there. If you do want a specific reading, the information for that is down below. I said everything in the beginning of the video, so let's just get into it. So first, let me just say, you guys are the first ones to get, I just got this new spread for my readings, and you guys are the first ones that I get to read on it for. Such a geeky thing, right? I'm such a dork. I love it. I'm so in love with this. I'm like giddy to read on it, so I'm very much looking forward to doing this reading. All right, what's coming up for Aquarius? We're gonna start with general. All right, so start with general, and then we'll move into business, career, all the things, right? So, challenge that's coming up, and spiritual advice. Okay, let's move those up a little bit so we can have the others in frame. Okay. So when we're looking at business, we're looking at where you work, we're looking at your finances, we're looking at, you know, if you're an entrepreneur. So you don't have to be someone who is an entrepreneur or a freelancer. When I'm talking about career, I'm also talking about life path, right? Like your purpose. Okay, so 2 cards out there. What's the challenge that's coming up for Aquarius in the realms of... Interesting. Okay. A lot of pentacles right out. I mean, how appropriate. It doesn't always work out that way, but let's see what kind of spiritual advice we have coming through for you. And I'm feeling one more. Oh my goodness. Look at this. All pentacles all the way across. Can't wait to get into this reading for you. So giddy about having a new reading cloth. Okay. lots of discernment that I can see right out. So first, let's actually get a clear picture of what is going on overall, like the overarching theme for what's happening for my Aquarians. Let me just move that up a little bit. Okay. All right. So right off, I'm actually seeing something that needs to be owned, and it's a good thing to be owned. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck. I have several favorites, but this is one of my favorite cards to have in the deck. Reason being, this is embodying passions, embodying intense desires, embodying your self-confidence, and also asking yourself, in your world right now, what is actually creating that for you? Where do you feel powerful and passionate and engaged in life, right? So because this part is like about the general reading, you know, this could be applicable to relationships. It could be, you know, connected to what we're going to look at with regard to your career path, your purpose path, your work, right? So figure out like where it is that you're feeling maybe like you need to step into this kind of energy for yourself. Perhaps you've been feeling a lack of it, or you get glimpses of it. But yeah, so she is like, she knows her own personal power. She displays self-confidence, right? She's generous, but it's the burning passions and desires. That part, I just smile so much because I'm like, yes, girl, we get each other. I get it. So also a little bit spontaneous, right? And someone who utilizes creative energy to inspire others, you know, and just as kind of somebody who tends to be bright right now. For some of you, I'm going to say I just got something else. So for some of you, I think this is an actual person, that this represents a person, someone that I'm feeling like this is a possible peek into the love aspect. We'll get into the love reading, but I'm feeling like this is possibly a person. So either way, it's either that these are the traits to tap into and notice for yourself, when and where do you feel powerful and passionate, and feel like there's a sense of inspiration that comes through, a brightness, right? Even with the sunflower, we can see like this brightness, right? So where does this all come through, right? Now, when we take a look at what is occurring with the challenge card here, for some of you, this is about moving away from, going on a journey to get perspective, right? Sometimes this is just getting some space from a situation in order to have perspective, because we're finding it difficult to have the kind of perspective that we need when we're so close up to something. For some of you though, this card can be about physical, actual travel. Notice that they're traversing the waters, so it could be international travel. I know at least one Aquarius that this is going to resonate for. So I'm just kind of smiling. You know who you are. So that's interesting. However, this is about getting the space and taking a trip, and also feeling some kind of internal resistance around doing this, right? Like there's stuff that it's bringing up for you to actually get that space, to separate yourself from the situation or whatever it is that you're needing to get perspective on. And what you really need to do is like not jump ship, like don't jump ship, continue, go on the voyage, right? Don't jump ship. So that's part of the challenge here. And then when we take a look at what's coming up with the Knight of Swords. Now the Knight of Swords is about fast action, like moving quickly in a certain direction. Like it's your patience has been exhausted and you're wanting to move quickly in a new direction, and your guides are saying, yes, do that. So because this is in the position of your spiritual advice for how to handle all of this, right? So because it's in that particular position, we're looking at it as like your guides are saying, yes, move quickly in this other direction, right? Thoughts, ideas, they're going to move very quickly right now. And there is something about needing to speak out and needing to communicate things. Be careful about, as you're rushing forward, not to be like, the one thing about the Knights is that they tend to rush headstrong into things, and it's like, do this now, like act now, think later. So speak now, consider it later. And one thing to caution you with this is to consider your, like, you need to communicate. It's clearly saying you need to go and communicate, and it's going to happen quickly, and it needs to actually happen. However, consider your words wisely. Utilize your, like, your tongue can cut, or it can be used with precision. And so be sure that as you go forward with whoever you need to communicate with, that you are aware of how you can say it most tactfully, most diplomatically, most consciously, most compassionately, still though very directly. That's one of the things with the swords, especially the Knight of Swords, is like needing to go in and speak out and say what's there to say, right? So, and also it's about truth, right? When we look at the swords and our communication, it often is tied to our truth, like what is so, speaking what's so for us. I hesitate to say our truth because truth is unchanging, but it's a term, and it's the best way in our lexicon that I think that there is to really describe it. So it's like, yes, communicate your truth, but communicating what's true for you, right? And that there is integrity and justice in the way that you are advocating for yourself and, to the best of your ability, everyone that's around, right? But the thing about the Knight is that is quick acting. Like, this is quick movement. So there's something that needs to be communicated, for sure. So I get the sense that this is actually involving other people, that this is like, clearly, I feel like it's maybe having to do with romantic stuff, but this could be about other areas, or this could be a theme overall in your life. The people that you work with, how you need to stand and how you need to be with your, like, what you need to embody, and that there might be the need for perspective and needing to communicate things. Like, you've been patient, you've done the things that you need to do, and now it's time to actually speak out and say what's there to say. Okay, so let's move this to the side, and let's get into, I'm going to arrange these this way, and the challenge, and then what we had show up as the spiritual advice. Let's start off here looking at what is happening up here in the Two of Pentacles. And part of the reason why I want to say that is because this can actually indicate traveling for work, right? I mean, not necessarily for work, but we're looking at your business, career, finances, right? That whole world. And so this tells me that there's some kind of connection to this, right? So a couple of different things that I want to say about this. This particular card represents sometimes traveling internationally, overseas, right? Traveling for work, traveling, being connected to work in some way. We also had travel show up in the general reading, so I want to make sure that I just bring that back and point that out. Okay, with that said, when we're also looking at the Two of Pentacles, what I'm seeing here is that there is, you got options. You're balancing and you're trying to figure out, like, weighing out options is part of this. Also, trying to, do the dance of balance as you try to balance different areas of your life and how that's affecting you with your career, with your work. Certain decisions are a part of your process in how you figure out your next steps. The reason I say next steps is because I see certain things coming down the pipeline. So we'll check into that in a moment. But yeah, just having what you need to do in order to create stability in your life and the things that you need to balance and how that affects, it ripples out into your work, right? It ripples out into your business or, with whatever business you have, whatever you do for work, right? So, and balancing out finances too, right? This is also about looking at our finances and saying, like, all right, how can I keep things stable? How do I find the stability amongst the waves of life, essentially? And then we move into the Eight of Pentacles. And so for some of you, this may be like you're furthering your craft, you are continuing to hone your skills, and like this is the card of craftsmanship, right? So continuing to work on and hone your skills for whatever it is that you do. So maybe you're doing continued learning, maybe you are going in a new direction with your career, and so you're learning about something else that you want to take your business in, or that you want to take your life in, right? So, but this is about putting in the work, staying with it, honing your craft, right? And so these are the overall themes that we're looking at when we're looking at these two cards here. These are the overall themes for the month of April. Things that are top of mind that you're considering. Let's just notice also, all of your cards are earth cards. They're all coins, right? Except for this Libran card, which we're going to come back to. So when we're looking at the challenge that shows up, the Ace of Pentacles, I would read this very differently if it were in a different position. But because we're looking at it in the challenge position, this is about feeling a little bit stuck with the opportunities. Perhaps that's what you're weighing out here, but feeling a little stuck with the choices or the opportunities. Like, what is it that you want to actually have materialize in this world? The word manifestation just gets way overused, but that is one word that we could use for it. Manifestation, materialize into this world. What is it that you're wanting to create, and feeling some kind of stuckness about how that looks going forward. I think possibly because there are certain things that are affecting your career decisions that you don't know how it's all going to play out. And so you're kind of like, well, what do I create? What should I establish? What should I put roots down with, right? Because this is Earth. So what should I put roots down with? What should be materialized in this world? If I'm not sure how all these other things are going to play out, then like the weighing out here, then how am I supposed to know what to create? And so feeling some kind of stuckness. And so don't worry too much about the stuckness, right? It's like all of these are periods of transition that we go through, and usually they start to clear up and we get the answers, just not maybe as quickly as we want them to come through. And Earth, remember, Earth is slow moving. Earth is not a fast moving like air. It's not like air. It's slow moving. So the answers that are going to come through, I don't imagine are going to happen like rapidly. I think it's going to take a little bit of time over, like at least over the course of the month. Maybe you'll start to get some clarity. But let's take a look at what we have showing up for your spiritual advice. So we have the King. Notice two thrones, right? So this is about leadership. This is about the position that you hold, the power space that you're in. Something to just recognize about the symbology of thrones, right? And what that means, so places of leadership most of the time, right? So when we're looking at the King of Pentacles here, what I'm seeing is like, again, that's slow to change, slow moving. So make your, like you've been established, right? As a King of Pentacles, it's like, I have established my worth. I know my shit, like I have created a solid foundation with who I am and what I do. I'm responsible, I'm trustworthy, right? Can be a little bit stubborn, right? Because Earth can be a little bit stubborn. But this is about like security, quality, right? This is about quality. The Earth signs are also about quality, especially Libras. But what we're seeing is like, okay, examine, like getting the space. I think that this might be connected here, right? Getting the space that you need to have the perspective. Perhaps if you are actually traveling coming up soon, that will give you also some perspective on what it is that you want to do. Maybe that will help with getting this energy unstuck out of the muck, out of the mud, right? And so the question here is, all right, so what needs to happen for me to create? It's kind of like, here's what I'm looking for. It's what I was searching for. Taking calculated risks, right? So taking risks, but make sure that they're going to the best of your ability, to ensure some sense of security, that it's going to be quality, right? So ask yourself also, who else is trustworthy? Who else is practical, down to earth, that kind of energy, that you can also delegate some of these responsibilities that the king has, delegating them out to other people, right? So that's something to really consider. When we're looking at the Justice card, this is about being true to yourself. In this particular position, what I'm seeing is being true to yourself, speaking your truth. Again, we have that showing up, speaking your truth, speaking what is so for you, and doing it diplomatically, right? Because Librans, like, that's the character association with just Libras in general, right? Is doing it diplomatically, doing it tactfully, right? We're looking at the justice scales. It's about what's fair. It's about what's equal. So while also expressing truth, expressing what's so, and staying true to yourself, to your desires, to your dreams, to your passions, to your wants, right? We may not be seeing a whole bunch of like passion, fire, rawr, coming through here, but this is about stability and about continuing to hone your craft, staying true to yourself, delegating things out, and also like making decisions that are grounded and calculated risks. The answers to this are going to come. It's just not going to maybe show up as quickly as you want. Earth, like I said, moves slowly. So give it a little bit of time. If you are traveling, give it some time. You know, let it percolate. Slow changes, right? Let it percolate. And then maybe on the other side of that, you'll have gotten the perspective that you need to see how things weigh out, right? How things weigh out, how they balance out, how to balance them. The scales of balance, right? So I don't know if that's too far away from, but the scales of balance are what we're looking at, right? So that is your business, career, finances read, Aquarius. Let's take a look at what is coming up for my Aquarians with love. What is coming up with love for you guys? Okay. Want to make sure that's in frame. Challenge and advice. Okay. All right. And then, as we have been doing, we are sticking with this. You're looking at the Goddess and God cards. Now, as I've said, this is, you could think of this in terms of archetypes of the masculine and feminine. You could think of it as, if masculine and feminine doesn't resonate, you could think of it in terms of yin and yang, right? So this is not about gender, identity, or any of those things. Like, the universe is made up of these polarities of energy, and so are we. Okay? So if it helps to think about it that way, think about it that way. The other way to look at this is, if it's in your belief structure to look at deities, then it's about deities. Then these are the homies that have your back and are showing up to say, like, hey, I've got your back. Don't worry, I'm going to help you through this. Otherwise, it's attributes that you can embody to help you through any of the challenges, through getting clarity that you need through the month. All right. Okay. Ooh, I love how the knotwork is actually kind of connected to that. I'm so excited about this new reading cloth. And the color is just as beautiful as I anticipated it being. All right, and then we're going to talk about what other messages your ancestors, your spirit guides have in a more direct way for you, right? That's what we're looking at. Okay. And we're also going to take a look at the shadow aspects. What's coming up? What are your blind spots? Like, completely blind to, or the things that you maybe push away that need to be addressed, that are the things that trip us up despite our best efforts because we choose to ignore them. All right, so let's find also a rune for Yoon. Here we go. Okay. All right, Aquarius. So I'm going to continue this reading over on Patreon. So the link for that is down below if you would like to check this out. Love reading and the rest of the spiritual guidance that's coming through to help you out and to see what shadows, what blind spots are tripping you up that are making your life way more difficult. So if you just address them, it'll be a lot easier. All right, that all said, I hope you have a beautiful month, Aquarius, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.